Good morning. It's 8:45 here in Paris, and it's very gray outside. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the completion process. I had a really beautiful session last night with one of my clients, and he was really awesome at holding space for himself. And it reminded me of why I love this process, why I do it. Really powerful. So, one of the hardest things about the completion process is that I find for people when they do it is that they have a preconceived idea of how the process is supposed to go. And they tend to kind of come in with an idea of wanting to rescue their inner child, or wanting to experience a certain emotion, or wanting to see a certain outcome. And the completion process goes right into the unconscious mind, where there are no rules, there are no laws. You can fly, you can know the future, you can know the past. And the process is about letting go of the conscious mind. The conscious mind is a suppressor and a bit of a tyrant. You can be super nice. It's not saying that you're not a nice person, but your conscious mind is the one that is kind of getting you into trouble in the first place. Your conscious mind is the reason why you're not really able to feel your feelings. So we kind of don't want to let the conscious mind guide the healing process. And it's really good to teach your conscious mind, excuse me, on a regular basis. My conscious mind is trying to stop me from saying what it is. You can't win. So the conscious mind is the one that is suppressing the emotions in the first place. So it's really just doing its job. It's the one that's developed the coping mechanisms, and the one that's keeping the coping mechanisms in place, because the well of emotions that lie beneath our consciousness is really, really strong and deep. So it's not surprising that you put a lid on those feelings, and that's what your conscious mind does. So you don't want to come into a completion process session feeling or thinking that the session needs to look a certain way, that you're thinking that you already know the story that is at the bottom of whatever you're feeling. True, you might have an idea of what is going on, but the unconscious mind is so vast and colorful, and it's also very, 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 very wise. For example, your unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, where all the creativity is stored and all the pain is stored, knows that by sending you an image that seems random, it knows that it can connect you to a deep emotional feeling on an unconscious level. It's something that exists below the level of your conscious mind. So your conscious mind wants to see something rational that it can grasp onto during the process. Like, it wants to have a tangible memory that it can identify and it can verify. And the unconscious mind knows that the feelings that it needs to feel in order to have the healing are connected in a way that's below the level of your consciousness. So it's really important to go in to the session without any preconceived ideas and having a willingness to say, I'm going to believe whatever comes up. I trust the process. The completion process is a process. It's not about the end game, which is, it's not about experiencing the completion process with the end in mind. It's about being in the moment, being in the process, and surrendering, letting go, and letting God, and letting the God be the unconscious mind. Letting go, letting God, the unconscious, wise, old, true, authentic part of yourself, letting it be. Personally, when I do my own completion process for myself, I'm never able to, rarely, it's not never. When I do it on myself, I'm rarely able to get myself to the end result because it's not even necessary. When I'm taking myself through the process, and I take myself through the process probably once a week, it's about being in the moment with myself, and the completion process gives a very good framework for how to be in the moment with yourself during different parts of your own healing. And again, when I get myself to the very end, it's great, but that's not what I really need. I use the completion process on myself to help me feel the depth of my feeling and to just give voice to my inner child. That's all I really need. Sometimes the voice of my inner child's wounding is so strong that I need to be with that voice, sometimes for days, and sometimes I need to just be in the experience of what that child was feeling. There's more that needs to come up, and so I allow myself that, which is why I don't try to force myself to get to a completion. For me, it's about the process. It's a different experience when you come to the completion process with a professional. You want completion. And most of the time, my clients are able to get that completion, but sometimes clients are so wedded to their conscious mind, and they're so unwilling to break free of their own prison. They want it so badly to either, what it feels like to them is that they won't get out of their heads. They won't stop thinking or rationalizing what they're feeling. They won't stop blaming themselves and taking responsibility for the actions of the parent or the wounding, the person who's delivering the wounding. There's such a strong association and identification that it takes a couple of sessions for them to let that go. So in which case we might need a couple of sessions. So we let the first layer, the first session is spent simply allowing them to have that grieving process of letting go of the conscious mind, So we sit and we feel the feelings that we have, but the mind is usually not letting them actually feel the feelings, so they're thinking their feelings instead of actually feeling them. Sometimes that's the way it goes, But the second session, there's always that breakthrough. I've never had someone not have that deep breakthrough. Like the second session will always do it. Most people, though, will get it on the first session. Most people will get it on the first session. And when people have to wait until further down the road, like the second session, it's because that mind, there's something so profound under there. That mind is terrified of it, and it won't let it happen, in an hour or an hour and a half, And that's okay, where we are is a blessing. And I can relate so intensely. To that mind that won't go there. I know my mind so well. And where I was, a couple of years ago, even 1 year ago where I was, I could see where my mind wouldn't let me go there. But all that has changed my mind. My mind goes to those deep and dark places. And I think that's what makes me a great completion process practitioner, is because I've gone there. I've been in the depths of my own sludge, and I'm not afraid to go into that with with my clients. So not afraid. And my client last night made the greatest remark. He said, that was probably one of the best. I get some really great compliments, but this one was really powerful. He says, when I saw your picture, I knew you could go there. I knew you could handle the depth of my pain. And I'm like, he's like, you look really strong. And I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm so not afraid of the shadow. I live with my shadow, and I don't banish it. I don't banish it. I don't disavow it, and I don't suppress it. Not anymore. I integrate it, and I stand strong in the full spectrum of my emotions, and I impart that on my clients. That's a gift that I can bring to people as a healer, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's a co-creation. Healing is a co-creation. It's a co-creative process, and my Kundalini energy rises when I do my work, what I came here for. And I know that I came here to help people as they transform and they transition from one state to the next. And it does feel good to me. And I do feel, I'm super empathic, so I can feel the pain of my clients. However, I'm also gifted with being able to transmute energy. So when I feel that pain, I don't take it on as a burden. I don't get stuck with people's pain in my body anymore. I did when I was a kid. Oh my God, stuck with the pain of my parents and my ancestry. But now I've learned how to move that energy through, to cycle it through, so that I'm more like a filter. But I'm more like a filter that's constantly being cleaned and flushed. It's a process, and I've opened up to that. That's my strength, one of my strengths. And being able to read people and to see them, when they're being authentic, to know when people are in their heads and when they're in their bodies, when they're truly in their bodies. That's a gift of mine as well. To be able to listen intuitively. My intuition is so strong. I'm so blessed by that. I love my own intuition, and I'm able to use it to serve other people. It's such a gift. It's such a gift, I really appreciate it. All right, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit this morning, and to share my experience with the completion process. It's really powerful. It's such a loving thing to do for yourself. You get the book, read the book so that you know what the completion process is. Your mind will appreciate that. Your conscious mind will totally appreciate that. But if you have trouble and you feel like you want assistance with carrying it out, because it's hard to be in your mind and to heal yourself. It's not an easy process, but that's why we have healers like myself and like all the other practitioners, so that we can actually facilitate the process for you. You know, it's a blessing for us to be able to do it. I know the completion process practitioners, you know, who are doing this work, they love doing it because, you know, it feels amazing to connect with another soul that has gone through or is going through the same pain that you've experienced. It's like you see a mirror, and the mirror is alignment. It's alignment. When you're with a completion process practitioner, it's the one that you've called in. You know, your mind can tell you, oh, this isn't the right practitioner for me. But once you've made that decision and you're in it, you got to be careful, because your mind can tell you that, will take you into resistance and say, oh no, this isn't going well. This isn't the way I want it to go. That's a clue. I needed, for my own session, I needed I was having a really dark thing that wanted to come up, but my mind was totally in resistance to it, and I couldn't do it on my own. And I'd been sitting with it for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I gotta get in there. So I went to a practitioner, and she was a new practitioner, and already my mind was coming up with the judgments of, she's a new practitioner, you know, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm going to go through this process. So we sat down, and I was instantly triggered. And this poor girl, she did not know how to handle my trigger, because when I am triggered, I get very mean, I get very articulate, I get very intimidating. It is like this big black goddess who's looking at you and telling you you have no right to be here. And she's formidable. My guard dog is really formidable. But the thing is, when that guard dog comes up, that's when I know that there is some deep wounding. So I didn't resist my guard dog. I let her come up, but what I did was to sink into the emotions behind, and I told the practitioner, I said, look, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And what I did was I told her how I felt about her. You know, this is what you have to do, though, in the completion process. You have to say, you have to not hide behind your ego. You have to be there. So I said, look, you're not doing it for me as a practitioner. You know, you're apologizing to me for being a practitioner, and that's making me feel that you're weak. And she apologized then for doing that. And I said, stop apologizing. Stop apologizing, you know. Like, stop it. What are you doing? You're supposed to be the strong one here. You're supposed to be stronger than me. And she's like, you know, I want to give you your money back. I'm like, don't give me back my fucking money. Just let me be. And then I was able to sink, like I said, behind that rage that was pouring out on her. And I said, okay, you know, this rage that I'm giving you is not, you realize that there's something behind it, and the last thing you need to do is to apologize to me for being who you are. What I need you to do as a patient, as a client, is to hold space for you stand in your truth and understand that this anger that I feel is not really about you, but it's about me, and to instead let me have it and you stay strong. So once I sunk down into that feeling, and she's like, yeah, okay, you're right. Let me just sit here and be here for you. And then I was able to sink down. And then I saw, oh my God, that feeling, that darkness that was there was disgusting. It was something that was a disease. It was a disease. Like I got to see into the face of the most vile disease that existed, and it existed inside of me, and it was something that was old. It was something that came forth from my own past lives, but also within my family, within the story. It was the disease of rape and incest and disempowerment. Oh my God. Wow. That was what my mind did not want to see. And I'm so glad I sat there for myself, that she sat there with me, but that I sunk down into it. It was what I needed to do, and the healing was profound. But this is what this work is about, And the young woman, and again, I was one of her first clients, so that she got me, we have a little brief conversation about it, and I'm like, send me your bill, and I let her know that I found the core of the issue, and I know that session made her stronger, and I know that I found the healing that I needed. It was huge, man. But this goes to show you don't know what your healing session is going to look like. You don't have any idea. So don't try to guess what it's going to look like. Let go of preconceived ideas of how you should feel and how you should behave, and let go of the politeness. And as a practitioner, practitioners need to never apologize for being where they are, And okay, when I know, there are times, well, this doesn't happen anymore, but it used to happen when I was a newer coach, like years ago. I got certified as a completion process practitioner in November of 2015, but I've been working as a healer I've been working as a healer for 10 years, but I've been working as a spiritualist, I've been working with spirit for over 20 years. So my experience is profound. So it's a little bit different when I'm saying this. But as a new practitioner, when a new completion process practitioner is a channel for good, it doesn't matter if you, Spirit is using all of us to help the world. And that woman who helped me, for example, she was in the exact right place at the exact right time. She did not need to apologize, although she apologized, and that triggered me more, which was awesome because it triggered me to go deeper. It triggered my rage to even expand. This is why we don't need to go in with preconceived ideas. We don't know how Spirit is using us. We don't know how we're going to be affected, I find life to be so beautiful. The dark and the light, I love it. Alright, so I've gone on for a lot longer than I intended. The point is, the completion process is beautiful, and it's helpful, and it's varied, and I love it. I love it. Alright, I hope this is helpful for you. I've kind of been all over the place, but I just woke up. I didn't just wake up. I woke up at 7, and I started my meditation, and I usually go on for I usually spend like an hour and a half or 2 hours to meditate and pray and journal. And I thought, okay, I'm going to share this experience that I had even for my own self, being with my own body this morning and in the process. So I hope you got something out of this video. I know it's a little bit long, but if you stuck with me for the whole 25 minutes, God bless you. And I hope it was helpful. All right, sending you blessings, friend. Namaste. Have a good day. Bye.